Taking care of Raucous and storm prep, I am significantly sleep deprived, but there is news, so I am here. As best I can tell, I am here. Being so sleep deprived, this may be completely imaginary. I hope I imagine it well. We do have news on coaching front, a little bit of news, and we have pretty fair amount of news on the player front as far as current players and transfer players. I do want to mention I've got a live chat scheduled for Monday night starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, so we can talk about the whole picture, what's happened so far, what we hope will happen down the road, and what we're afraid will or won't happen down the road. Of course, remember, both here at this channel today and during the live chat, trash talk and insults do not fly, especially on the live chat. Meanwhile, this is WVU Football Going Deep. I am Forrest Poston, and this is the channel for fans who like to think as well as cheer. Now, please share, subscribe, click the thumbs up button, click the notification bell, make comments, and tell your friends. Looking first at coaching news, something to keep in mind. This is kind of being mentioned in a lot of places. I've mentioned it before. We no longer have a limit of 10 coaches. That limit disappeared last year. Teams didn't really have time to do a lot of changes other than maybe giving guys new titles. So graduate assistants became assistant coaches, that sort of thing. Now, the appearance is that Rich Rodriguez will be hiring more, and maybe significantly more, than 10 position coaches. We're getting a lot more specialization with some of the coaches. We may see that continue. We're getting a number of younger coaches, guys who aren't Power 4 coaches, but that doesn't mean they're not good coaches. I know a lot of people want name hires, splash hires, a lot more like Zach Alley. Don't expect it, because the concentration is on quality. And a splash hire is not synonymous with good hire. I certainly hope that Zach Alley will be a good coach. I think he will be a good coach. Not because he's a name or a splash hire, but because he has done well in the past and seems to have some really good ideas. Application is, of course, the trick. We'll see how that goes. This will be his first time at Power 4 level as the defensive coordinator, which might open some things up that he wasn't able to do at Oklahoma. We'll see. Meanwhile, on the new or newish coaching hire front, I did not mention, or I think I failed to mention in the last video, Henry Weinrich is expected to be hired as nickelback and Sam's. Yeah, Sam linebacker, I assume, but possibly sort of the coach of hybrids. Not sure. Again, we don't know exactly what defense Alley will run. So even with some of the position names, we're not sure what that will mean. And also, Gabe Franklin hired to coach safeties. At the college level, he most recently coached at Boise State, although that was a few years ago because he left coaching to finish a master's degree. So that suggests education is important to him, and hopefully it's something he'll pass along to his players. He then did some coaching at the high school level, but it was Boise State where he crossed paths with Zach Alley. So he is a known quantity, for at least for Alley. And of course, Rodriguez had better trust Alley or he shouldn't have hired him. So, we also have Rod West coming in to coach corners. And again, this is unofficial, but fairly firm. And he comes from, most recently, Appalachian State. And we will, again, see how that goes. But we will be back to having separate corner and safety coaches rather than trying to have one person do all defensive backs and a defensive coordinator who was just positionless and moved around. I don't necessarily think that was the problem last year. It may have added to problems. I really think that it was the psychology of the defense that was the problem last year. I just don't think Jordan Leslie was able to be as aggressive as he wanted to be. He just got caught in a downward loop, especially after getting beaten twice on 0 blitzes against Oklahoma State a couple years ago. I think that kind of locked him in, and things just didn't break free. Anyway, back to this year. That's pretty much it for now on the coaching front. We still have a number of things. We haven't confirmed who the quarterback coach is, expected to be Rhett Rodriguez. What's happening with offensive coordinator, we don't know. A little earlier today, Jack Bicknell was formally announced as the offensive line coach, so we've made progress there. Formal progress. And step by step, I know Rodriguez did hope to have the coaching staff in place by now. I mean, well, about now. We have most of it, it seems. Still some things to shake out. Why other things aren't being announced, we still don't know. Whether it is just, are there still discussions with some people that we're not sure of? And of course, we still have teams involved in the playoff. If there's anybody coming from there, we'll have to wait and see. Now, players. This is the more exciting part for multiple reasons. In terms of current players, good news on 2 fronts, and actually, I think it is very good news. First of all, Obinna Onwuka had announced going into the transfer portal, but he didn't. He never actually entered the portal, and now has confirmed that he is staying with the team. And he didn't play last year, no, but really looks to be a prime talent, offers something on the edge that we're going to need. I think he could be an exciting and critical player in Zach Alley's defense. Whether it will be as edge rusher or something a little different, I don't know. But I really look forward to seeing him on the field. Before he got to West Virginia, he was so active in recruiting. I mean, he really came across as the type of guy you want on your team. The type of guy you want there, even if he's not playing. I mean, these kind of guys can make massive differences in the locker room. So I like having him back. And it's a spot where we really did need a special talent. Also, I guess Eddie Vesterinen has announced that he will return for his senior, his medical redshirt senior year. And given how much youth there is on the defensive line, that is critical. He brings a work ethic, and again, is just, he is a great teammate. So I think that will really help solidify the team. And, because we were looking at Hammond Russell as the elder on the line. Of course, Vesterinen is just a little older overall anyway. I think Sonny Redwood might have been the next guy up on age. And then we're getting into like redshirt freshmen and that kind of thing. So this makes a big, potentially big difference. On the transfer front, kind of hoped for more earlier, but we are getting into a critical time because classes are going to be starting up. And then we run into limits for when people can enroll for this semester. There is some flexibility. It's not, an absolute that they have to get things done in the next couple of days, but it's better. So getting guys now and early in the coming week may determine whether or not they can be here for this semester or not until summer. Of course, now is better than later. Summer is better than even later, but we'll see. Meanwhile, we have a commitment from a running back, L.J. Turner, who was at Division II Cadaba. So, of course, making a big jump up, and it is his last year. But he was an All-American, Division II. That says something. My understanding is that he started playing football late, had a massive senior season at a high level in Florida, but since he did not have a lot of history, did not get attention. Went to Catawba, played his guts out, and again, he's right in that like 5'8", 5'9", 195 range. Word, as best we know, he's a one cut and go back with good speed. Don't necessarily expect him to compete for starting spot, but could step into the number 2 back spot depending on how well he adapts, plus how well, we will have 2 redshirt freshman backs who good backs. How much they will develop between last year and this year, how they will adapt to a pure zone offense, we'll have to wait and see. Now, according to Chris Anderson at 24/7 Sports, there is chatter that DeAndre Desenor may not be coming. Now, some people, I have not watched his senior tape. Some people say his senior tape was disappointing. I don't know how that factors in. I don't know if there were just discussions with the team after Rodriguez was hired, because, of course, he signed his letter of intent before knowing, who would be here or knowing enough about them. The staff worked to get him to stay committed. They succeeded. Things may be changing. We do still have Clay Ash and Judah Price, as far as I know. Both are walk-ons. Clay Ash looked good in limited chances and was evidently good on special teams last year. Judah Price Just don't know if he is a power 4 running back. He probably would be, one of your special teams kind of guys. Might be better off someplace else. I don't know. But we will lose a lot of walk-ons with the changes in roster limit and scholarships. Oh, crap. Oh, didn't write down the first name. We have a wide receiver formerly out of Parkersburg, went to, okay, forgive me. I also did not write down what college he ended up at. Small college, but Trow out of Parkersburg, redshirted his first year, had a fairly significant season at a team that did not pass a lot or well, and is now coming to West Virginia. He is not a big receiver, but may still be playing outside because we are getting pretty well stocked at the slot position. Again, he may be a depth piece this year, as opposed, Now, keep in mind, with the Rodriguez offense, you do not tend to have great receivers. You tend to have good receivers. Historically, there were a couple of times at West Virginia, with Chris Henry and Darius Renaud's last season, they were it as the guys getting the ball, and they got a lot of receptions. But if the ball gets spread around much to 2 or 3 receivers, you're looking at 25 to 35 receptions as pretty much your upper limit. And the best receivers don't want to play at a school where they're not going to have a chance at more than 35 receptions. You can't blame them. So I guess we are talking to a transfer from Clemson. I'm not sure, if he'd be considered a splash signing or not. I really just don't expect much of a splash at wide receiver, because this is not an offense. This is an offense that pulls in running backs, certain type of quarterback, and potentially certain type of lineman. But it does not pull in wide receivers. Good receivers maybe, but not guys who are great. They might have a great year, but and again, I'm not knocking. You need good receivers in this offense, but don't expect great receivers. Good receivers make the running game go. Anyway, and we also, Rodriguez had said he might sign another quarterback for depth and potentially competition. That seems to have happened. Jalen Henderson, who played a couple of years at Fresno State and then at Texas A&M, has committed to West Virginia. He is a dual threat quarterback. He's he doesn't have a lot of tape. Had some injury issues, and did get passed up a couple of times on the depth chart. When he played at, I think it was Texas. When he played at Texas A&M, it was after guys ahead of him got injured. He played for a few games. Offense scored lots of points, but he did not hold the number 1 spot the next year, and then was injured. So exactly what we're getting, we don't know. Seems to be a quarterback who fits the system, which could bring out something special. How stiff the competition will be with Marchiol, of course, that will depend partly on Marchiol and how he adapts to the system. So there will be a storyline in spring camp. and that will be a big one. And who knows, Wilkins could pass them both. I don't expect that, but it will be an uncommonly interesting spring camp. All right. I do think we will be hearing a lot of transfer news in the next 2 to 3 days, especially. Now, some of that news will be guys committing. Some of it will be guys not committing. And I'm not really tracking the not commits because I don't necessarily care. But we have not signed an offensive lineman. I assume there are plans. Not a lot of chatter about offensive linemen, but we will see what happens. We've got some good guys, but man, we do not have depth. Anyway, thanks for watching. Best I can tell, I am still Forrest Poston. This is still WVU football going deep, and I will intend to do a live broadcast on Monday if we don't lose power due to the potential freezing rain coming in over the next 24 hours. So hope to see you then. Meanwhile, so long.